Hi there, Diana here. Today I want to talk to you about 3 steps you can take right now to reduce the trauma that you're undergoing while you're going through a separation and divorce. When you are faced with this new reality, you are in a state of shock. And it's traumatic because it's like your world has been ripped out from underneath you, whether you planned it, whether you had discussed it beforehand, it doesn't matter. You're still in a state of shock and you don't know what's going on. So in order to eliminate or reduce the effects on your mental well-being and your physical well-being, I want you to consider these 3 steps immediately. So the first thing I want you to do is get sleep. Get sleep. I know your world is upside down, you're freaking out, you have a lot to think about right now, but the most important thing you need to do is get enough sleep. Because without enough sleep, our brain actually cannot function properly. You're not going to be able to make the proper decisions, and you're actually putting your whole physical being at risk. And sleep is so important for our brain. At night, it actually repairs and renews itself, as do all of our organs, and it actually creates new neural pathways. Our brain does create new neural pathways so that we're able to think more clearly, or to be able to process new stresses more effectively. Okay, so that's so important. But also what happens is our brain is so important for, and our sleep is so important for balancing our hormones, because our metabolism needs to rest, obviously, as do all of our organs. And if we don't get enough sleep, we're at risk of gaining weight, actually, because that's what happens. Our body is triggered such that there's this imbalance of these hormones that regulate our metabolism and how we process food and nutrients and nutrition. And that gets thrown off when we don't get enough sleep. So you're going to want to eat more if you don't sleep it up, and you actually gain weight as a result. What happens also is that our body sort of rebalances our insulin levels. So when we're sleep deprived, our insulin is off, and it actually triggers our blood sugar levels, and they go up. So we're actually at risk for diabetes if you don't get enough sleep. And when we sleep, our immune system is also supported so that it stays healthy and strong. And as you know, if you don't get enough sleep, you are definitely going to get sick, you're going to get a virus, you're going to be susceptible to infection as well. So our brain needs to sleep, as I mentioned earlier. And if we don't actually get enough sleep, we're sleep deprived, our brain works slower. So we're not able to react quickly enough, and in fact, you are susceptible to having an accident in some way. And also, it's also very important for sleep for our heart function. Our heart, again, can rest. It is important to just repair. Sleep repairs our heart, repairs all of our processes that involve the heart, our vascular system. That's the word I'm thinking of. Obviously didn't get enough sleep. And ongoing deficiency of sleep, of course, promotes heart disease. It actually causes so much stress and can actually lead to kidney disease, can actually, of course, have higher blood pressure, insulin and also you can be susceptible to stroke. So here's the thing. If you are thinking that you get enough sleep, but you wake up and you can't sleep for an hour or 2 at night, it actually creates a buildup. And your body will react as if you haven't slept for 1 or 2 nights. And you know this, you've heard this before. If you lose sleep, you actually have to regain it back, because it accumulates. This effect of sleep deprivation accumulates if you don't catch up on your sleep. So take the opportunity to nap whenever you need to, after work, weekends. Just don't push yourself. Give yourself a break. Things can just happen as they are. Things don't have to be done at a certain time. Make sure you have enough rest so that you are able to function properly, so you can make the decisions that you need to make, and that you stay healthy and strong through the process of this trauma. Okay, step number 2. Develop self-compassion. I know this is a tough one, especially when you go through a divorce. Besides lashing out and trying to figure out what happened and who's to blame, we have a tendency to blame ourselves on some level, right? Whether you think so or not, like what could we have done better? What did we do wrong? There's sometimes no answers. So I want to encourage you to develop self-compassion. So Pema Chodron, she actually says that begin with the sequence of taking and sending with yourself. So essentially what that means is have compassion for yourself, give yourself a break, have empathy for where you are in this point in time, and forgive yourself. And by doing that, you'll be able to extend those same qualities to the people that you love, especially if you have children involved or loved ones or people who are supporting you, who might need you as well at other times of life. So loving kindness to yourself really means taking a step back from your situation and looking at yourself as if you were a child in pain and suffering, and treating yourself as if you were that young child. And how would you approach a child if they were in pain and suffering? You would have compassion and empathy. You'd want to soothe them. You'd want to hear what they have to say. You'd want to give them whatever they needed to make them feel better, right? So I'd like you to think of yourself from that point of view and extend all that loving kindness to yourself first. And although, sometimes when we're hurt, we challenge others to see if they still love us by showing them our ugly side. We all do it. Sometimes it works out well, sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time it doesn't, because people don't necessarily, you can't assume that they're going to have the amount of empathy for you that you would want them to have. So instead of lashing out and struggling with those feelings, work with them. Work with them from the point of self-compassion. Again, just work with those feelings, acknowledge how you feel, and give yourself a break. Okay, and that way you can learn how to always recognize those same pains in others and extend that compassion to others around you. Okay, now the third step, once you've done all those things and you've taken care of yourself emotionally, now we need to put yourself back together. Step number 3, pull yourself together. Draw all your strength to make sure you are physically fit and feeling strong, and that you're nourishing yourself so that you can feel good about yourself. I remember years ago when I started my separation, one of the things that was told to me by a woman who was writing a book at that time around divorce was the greatest form of revenge is to be strong and to look and appear as if you aren't struggling, right? Success and strength is the greatest form of revenge. And so I want you to consider that. So consider, of course, when you're trying to put yourself back together, you're going to ask yourself questions like, who am I? Who am I now in this new role? So you have this amazing opportunity to redefine yourself. As hard as it is, you can just keep an open mind and look at who you are in this new role. Look at where you want to be. See this as an opportunity to learn and to grow into yourself. Because ultimately, every experience that we have is a learning opportunity. So that's the first thing, of course. And you're going to ask, who are my friends? So when we go through this shift and we redefine who we are, we're no longer a wife, we're no longer married. We are now single, in the process of becoming single. It's a real gray area, but it's through this shuffling area that, you ask who your friends are. So your friends will show up for you. Those who love and support you will always be there for you, will always be there to listen to you, to help you, to guide you, and support you in whatever you are doing. And those who fall away, fall away. And that's as simple as it gets. They just fall away. You're no longer resonating at the same energetic level. You no longer have the same interests. And as painful as that is, you need to just let that go and focus on the amazing friends that you will develop through this process and the ones who've always supported you, whether they're friends or family. The next question you might think, where am I now? It's like, so again, physically, look at your body, look at how you are. Are you physically fit? Are you getting sick all the time? It's a very common thing to happen during this trauma. I have so many friends who have developed cancer, unfortunately, through this breast cancer. And it's so important at this point to really make sure your physical well-being is taken care of. This is where you look at your nutrition. What are you eating? What are your stresses? Can you reduce your stresses? Can you work part-time? Can you shift your hours so that you have a little bit of leeway to rest and repair yourself? Are you going to a therapist? Are you seeing a coach? Are you getting massage regularly? Are you taking care of your physical well-being? Are you exercising? Exercising is so important during this process. You must take care of your body and bring it back to health through this trauma. And the last thing I want to tell you is that I want you to remember, this is a phase, this is a thing this is a period in your life that will end. It absolutely will end. I know it seems like it won't. And at times you're going to ask, when is this going to end? When is this all going to clear up? When am I going to learn to be happy again in my life? And I'm here to tell you that it does end. It absolutely ends. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. And you will be in a state where you are better than you were before, because now you've learned to take care of yourself properly. And you are putting yourself first, which is the most important thing. So remember the 3 steps. Get enough sleep, have self-compassion, and finally take care of your physical well-being. Okay, I hope this was helpful. Talk to you again soon.